Hi, this week we're talking about doubts and disbeliefs and how they fit into your journey as being the parent of a transgender child. When you learn that your child is transgender, it's a whole bunch of brand new information that's being presented to you that you likely don't understand, that you have never experienced before, that you have no idea really what to do with when it's given to you. So think about it like this. When you learn a new hobby or a skill, like knitting or cooking or woodworking or like whatever the thing is, the first time that you do it, you don't really know what you're doing. You look at a pattern or directions or whatever, and it's like reading a foreign language. There's all these symbols and words and charts, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't understand it. And as you learn and understand what it is that you're doing in this new skill, you learn what those charts and symbols and directions mean, and then you're able to do whatever that hobby or skill is, and you become more proficient at it and better as time goes on, right? It's just like that when your child comes out as transgender. At first, it's all overwhelming, and there's all this information that you don't know what to do with it, and none of it makes sense, and you're like, what on earth do I do with this? And then as time goes on, you read books and you read websites and you talk to people and you go to therapy and you understand what it means for your child to be transgender and what it means for you to be the parent of a transgender child and your family to go through the transition of being the family of a transgender person. And it all starts to make sense, and you start to understand new language and terminology and feelings and emotions. And part of those feelings that you may experience as you're working through that process are doubts and disbelief, especially in the beginning, especially in those first days where you're like, I don't understand this. I don't know where it came from. Especially if your child is older, maybe a teenager or a young adult, especially if your child never presented with any gender questioning behavior or language, and it seemed to you to come clear out of the blue. And so that is part of your journey in figuring out what it means for you to be the parent of a transgender child, and part of your journey towards acceptance and understanding. And it doesn't mean that you don't support your child, and it doesn't mean that you love them any less. It's just part of the work that you have to do in order to come to a place to understand everything that's going on in your life and with your child. And so those feelings and emotions that you have are the work that you have to do in order for you to be able to move forward. And so sometimes we're like, well, I'm questioning if this is true, or I'm wondering if this is actually what's going on. And it makes me feel like a bad person because I've only known my child to be this one way, and their whole life they've always behaved in this way, and they've never done anything to make me think otherwise. And you process all these things, and it's because you have this vision and this way of thinking, and all of a sudden you've been challenged to think another way. and to see your child in another way, and to see your whole life, if you think about it, in another way. And it takes time. You can't do it right away. You can't do it in one day or a couple days or in a week. And so that's what that process is. That's what that journey that you go through is re-envisioning who your child is, who you are, and who your family is. And that's where those feelings come into play, those doubts and the disbelief and the grief and all the emotions that we go through. And it's just part of the process, and it's part of your journey, and it can be hard and sad and painful. And that's why I very regularly recommend to people to work with a trained professional to help you to navigate all of those big, complicated emotions, because it's really hard to do it on your own. So if you're in a place where you have been having doubts and disbeliefs and you're wondering, like, what's going on and why am I feeling this, and does it make me a bad parent, and does it mean that I don't support my child? The answer is probably no, unless you're not supporting or loving your child. And I like to believe that most of you who are watching this video, that's not you. So just know that it's normal. It's a normal part of the process, and just keep working through what you're feeling and how you're feeling, and eventually you're going to get to the other side of it. You get to the other side of it, and you keep moving forward, and just keep doing the best you can. And we'll talk again soon.